What should they do about a man lying to the American people, deceiving the members of Congress, prosecuting an unjust war? Is that not only reason to impeach him, but to set down his whole administration? Set down his whole administration. All of them are liars. All of them are murderers. You trying to take Maduro out of office and get control of the largest oil reserve in the world. What kind of president called? I know America's going to war, but it's a war, President Trump, that you can't win. Babylon is fallen. It's fallen. Substitute America for Babylon. She's unraveling. America is falling. It's falling. Why are you falling, America? Because you have become the habitation of devils.
Hello brothers and sisters, welcome back to the channel. I'm hoping that you are doing great. There's something that I want us to talk about, that Minister Louis Farrakhan tried to warn America on Trump's plan on Maduro. Right now it's something big. Different news media outlets are talking about this. But what if I told you that majority of these things that we are seeing, including the American collapse, we had black scholars that had already tried to talk about this. Perfect example is Minister Louis Farrakhan. Brothers and sisters, you cannot make this up. Minister Louis Farrakhan warned America about Maduro because he saw to it what Trump's plan was. So Minister Louis Farrakhan warnings to Donald Trump and the United States over Venezuela, and specifically over Nicolás Maduro, fits squarely within a long-lasting critique of American empire, interventionism, and moral hypocrisy. Farrakhan has consistently argued that the U.S. foreign policy is not driven by democracy or human rights, but by power, control of resources, and the maintenance of global dominance. In this context, his warning was not a defense of Maduro as a flawless leader, but a condemnation of America's habit of using or disguising regime change ambition as moral crusades. Farrakhan cautioned that when the U.S. targets foreign leaders under the language of justice, it often masks intentions that ultimately destabilizes nation and bring suffering to ordinary people. In this case, is Venezuelans, because right now the U.S. is intervening into the Venezuelans' business, and now the U.S. wants to run Venezuela because allegedly they have captured Maduro and his wife. So brothers and sisters, let's watch this video and then I'll be back. I'll be sharing my thoughts. Really interesting talk by Minister Louis Farrakhan. So let's watch the video. I'll be back about this.
I know America's going to war, but it's a war, President Trump, that you can't win. I know you say you got a lot of juice, $750 billion you're giving to the army, but you're only giving them that which is going to get more of them killed. Let me help you to see. You can win, but you can't win being a thug. You're trying to take Maduro out of office and get control of the largest oil reserve in the world. What kind of president calls somebody in the house of another Guaido? and tells him, you can be the next president. But Maduro was voted in. You say, well, it wasn't a free and fair election. Do you remember Jimmy Carter? He'd been watching elections, over 104 of them. And he said, I'm quoting the former president, he said that the voting in Venezuela is some of the best that he has seen in 104 countries where he has looked at elections. Now, I don't know the truth, but I think Jimmy Carter has no reason to lie on Maduro. But you see, when you're a hustler, when you're a thief, when you want to take the oil, remember how the president, when he was running, he said, let's take the oil in Iraq. Take it. See, but your hands will get chopped off today because you're not the power that you think you are. There's a new sheriff in town. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about the two that back me. Now look, I think, Mr. President, you would be wise to leave President Maduro alone. Mr. Bolton, the man with the mustache, he's in a press conference with his sheep, and he's talking about sending 5,000 troops to Colombia, but he don't know that he got the notes so that the media could take a picture of it. Now they're trying to overthrow this man, even if it means sending us to war. I respectfully say to the president, I cannot back you if you're going to send American soldiers to war to die because you want that man out of power and you're meddling in the affairs of his country. I don't think no young soldier should go. Just say, hell no, I won't go. And adopt the Muslim position. We do not believe that we who declared ourselves to be righteous Muslims should be engaged in wars which take the lives of human beings, especially when we have nothing to gain from it. Unless you give us the necessary territory wherein we'll have something to fight for. But to go and spend our lives so you can use their oil and ruin their country? You got over the banking system. You are telling the banks, the man got gold in England. He's asking for them to send some of his gold back so that he can turn that gold to feed his people. President sent word, you don't give him nothing. See, you're gangsters. Now, Mr. Trump, America is the modern Babylon. I want to have a message for the Jewish people. I'm not a hater. You can't find one word in the millions of words that I've spoken where I ordered somebody to hurt a Jewish person. No, that's not me. But to tell the truth, I'm going to put a little truth on you today, and then I'm going to close it out. You've been such a beautiful, attentive audience. Now, look at the scripture. Babylon is fallen. Is fallen. Substitute America for Babylon. She's unraveling. America is falling. Is falling. Why are you falling, America? Because you have become the habitation of devils. A hole for every foul person, a cage for every hateful bird. Have you become a nation of devils? No. Oh, you got to think now. Who am I talking to? Is it people that love righteousness? Or is it a people that can't wait for me to end what I'm saying so you could get back to the filth that you were doing before you got here? Who am I talking to? Mr. Trump, this country has become a habitation of devils. Everybody rebelling against God. Look at the 10 Commandments. Put them back up so I can help the people to see how wrong America is. I'm almost finished, family. But please, oh, now you got it. Now look, you shall have no other gods but me. Stop it. You can stop right there. Or you make gods out of everything and bow down to it. Tell me the truth. You shall not make for yourself any idol nor bow down to it or worship it. Oh. How many idols do you genuflect to? How many idols are in the church? Your holiness. How many idols have you made that people bow down to and worship the idol as though the idol has power? Come on. You shall not misuse the name of the Lord your God. Well, we can move on. You shall remember and keep the Sabbath day holy. That used to be. What are you doing? What are you doing Sunday? I'm at the casino. That's what I'm doing. I'm watching the football game, baby. That's what I'm doing. You're partying. Ain't keeping the day holy. Respect your father and mother. Yeah, go get them out of the old age home. The minute your mama can't do for you anymore, you park her somewhere and don't give a damn about how mama's being treated. The same mother that brought you through fainting and pain into this world and cleaned your diapers and washed you. Now you can't go and wash mama and daddy in the closing days of their lives. What kind of children have you become? What kind of people have we become? Oh, Mr. Trump, you shall not commit murder. You took credit. Oh, yeah, I had the boys kill Qasem Soleimani. You sent the drone after him. How many have you killed? How many are you planning to kill? See, murder is your modus operandi. See, here I am now. You want me dead. And after today, you might want to speed it up. I don't know. But Mr. Trump, America has become a habitation of devils and a hole for every unclean spirit and a cage for every hateful bird. Hateful birds mean those that are in foreign countries. You in Wuhan province. I didn't know you were there. Now you got a little something that you want to bring home to America. Bad state to be in, brother, when you think you got friends and none of them are your friends. Because a hypocrite can't have a friend, because a hypocrite is a friend to nobody. Because he's a liar. She's a liar. When you are enemy of God, how in the hell can you be the friend of anybody? When God is the greatest benefactor of all of us, what right do we have to turn on God? And the dragon stood before the woman to devour her child as soon as it was born. What kind of child was it? It was a man-child that was destined to rule the nations, all of them, with a rod of iron. In our lessons, the devil worked to destroy you when you're a baby. He's not going to let you grow into strength and power. Once he knows you're his enemy and you're a baby, he will kill the baby. That's why your babies are not doing well. Babies dying of AIDS. Babies sick. Babies being killed. But it's talking about you, brother, the black man. You have a great destiny. You don't think much of yourself, brothers, but you are some powerful men. All of you. There's not one of you that is not potentially powerful. The enemy knows this. So he stands before the apostle to devour the man-child, because he don't expect the woman to supplant him, but you will supplant the white man as a ruler. And that he never intends to see. So his aim is to destroy the black man, and particularly the black child. And that's why FOI class is so important. And that's why you must understand, brothers, that we are at war, even though you don't see a bullet being fired. We're at war, but the war is fought on this level now. They're after the men. Before you can grow from a child into a man, they don't want to see you become a man. Kill you now. They want no competition. And so, brothers and sisters, we have to look at the enemy within. The enemy that's on the outside, that you can handle. But the enemy that you got to really watch for is the dragon, sitting next to you posing as a Muslim. They've already spoken the word of disbelief and disbelief after their Islam, but they won't leave the mosque. They sit in the mosque and they come after every new brother and every new sister to poison them. Their aim is to destroy Islam. They can't do it. The enemy sent in a particular mosque a man in. He was a young man. And he worked his way up into the secretarial department. And he was told by those who sent him to steal the money of the poor believers who are giving their money in charity to the cause of Islam. He is an agent of the federal government working his way into the secretarial department to steal the funds of poor people so that we can't make progress for poor people. Isn't that something? This is going on right now. So everybody in the mosque is not a Muslim, though they all say Assalamu alaikum. You got to understand that. Nothing wrong with that. That's just as it's written that it would be. You got people in here that are sincere, brothers and sisters, and you got people that are faking it. And if you don't know who the sincere ones are, who the fakers are, then you have to grow and be wise and watch and listen to people. And look, when I speak to you, you go out on a high, man. That's what truth does. If somebody is talking to you on the spirit of the minister, they don't kill your spirit, they lift your spirit. But when you're sitting next to somebody and they're talking to you and you go home and your head is all confused and messed up and you don't know right then whether you want to continue to be a Muslim or whether you want to give it up, that person is different from the minister who spoke to you and raised you up. That's a person trying to kill you. And yet they say Assalamu alaikum and give you a big smile, maybe even loan you some money when you think you need it. And you won't say nothing on them. You won't report them to the minister, Ishmael, or the officials. You won't say nothing. Oh, he's my friend. But I'm so messed up, man. Damn, I couldn't sleep all night long. God, he didn't have to tell me that. Well, then he see you the next day. How you doing, brother? He's watching you. See how you took what he dropped on you last night. Or what she dropped on you last night. Because they got she droppers as well as he droppers. If you're not wise, first thing you should do is say, well, I was well till I talked to this dude. I was feeling fine. Now I got a headache, man. All of a sudden your spirit is down. See, you come to the mosque because you know it's where you should be. But, all right, brothers, here's the paper. You ain't got the strength to pick up a paper. Where you gladly gave in charity with a smile, you don't get nothing this week. You don't get nothing next week. And maybe your attendance gets slack. And you begin to think this is a game. Somebody's tricking you because you've been tricked all your life. And you think now this is another one. Brother and sister, let me straighten you out real quick, you know. This is an awful game to play. You know, I could do so many things with my life. Believe me, I'm a very talented brother. I don't need this to make a living for my family. I didn't need this to make a living for my family before I met this. I want to make it very clear to you. You ain't got nothing that I want to rob you of. They say all that a man has, he'll give for his life. My life is on the line, brother. When you see the CIA, the FBI after me, when you see the Bush don't like me, the Jews don't like me, these are powerful enemies. Then if I wanted to be loved, I could play the game like Jesse. If I wanted to be loved, what I mean is, when I say play the game, I could stop talking about what concerns black people and talk about our America, our Constitution, our flag, but you know it ain't ours. And if you don't know it, I know it. I can't play that game. Even if it meant that I die, I'd rather be dead than to play that game. No, I can't say my country 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty. You talk that crap, but I can't do that and be true to who and what I am. No, this ain't no sweet land of liberty. It's a cursed land of slavery and debauchery and evil. And I got to stand up and say it like it is. So don't think that the little car that the brothers bought me, limousine or some little car I drive or nice clothes I wear, that's payment for my work. You can't pay me for what I do. I'm not promised no money for what I do. I'm promised a reward from God for what I do. So the fact that I ride in a nice car or wear nice clothes don't make me good. And the fact that you may not have those things doesn't make you less than I am. Because this is not the measure of a man. It's here and it's here. That's where the real man is. So the dragon stands before the woman to kill the man-child. Nothing in the nation will be successful without the men. It's wonderful to have sisters that help, but this is not church. In the church, the women run that house. Because the men are non-productive. It's the women who work in the church. Is that right? Yes, sir. You should work wherever you are. But since God made us with two legs, don't you think a man ought to work for his woman? Yes, sir. Come on. Yes, sir. Then if this is a true house of God, and man was made to have dominion and power, then brothers, it's you that have to carry the nation on your shoulder. That's why the brothers in the FOI have the sun, moon, and star on their shoulders. The sisters don't have that.
So one thing that stands in Minister Louis Farrakhan's message was his belief that Trump's posture towards Maduro reflected a broader pattern of deception and arrogance at the same time. Why? Because he warned that Trump rhetoric framing Maduro as a criminal enemy of freedom was designed to manufacture public consent rather than to reveal the truth. So, Farrakhan emphasized that labeling leaders as dictators or narco-criminals has historically been the prelude to sanctions, covert operations, or military interventions. And in his view, Trump's language was not accidental. It was strategic, meant to prepare American public psychologically for actions that would otherwise provoke moral and legal outrage. So this is something that it does a lot of time. It does most of the time. And people know this, right? So Farrakhan also warned Trump that injustice abroad cannot be separated from consequences at home. He has often stated that nations reap what they sow, arguing that exploitation, destabilization, and bloodshed carried out overseas eventually return in the form of internal decay, division, and moral collapse. So, in referencing Maduro, Farrakhan suggested that targeting Venezuela was less about correcting wrongdoings and more about asserting dominance over a resource-rich nation that resisted U.S. control. His warnings implied that America's decline is accelerated not by foreign enemies, but by its own refusal to confront the destructive nature of its global behavior. Right? So this is the global behavior of the US, and this is what it does better. So just think about it. It has been happening, and it is happening. Another important dimension of Farrakhan's warning involved Trump's personal character and leadership style. Understand that Mr. Farrakhan has repeatedly criticized Trump as impulsive, ego-driven, and dangerously dismissive of ethical restraint. So in this case of Maduro, Farrakhan suggested that Trump's willingness to frame, to threaten, or to undermine a foreign leader reflected the same mindset Trump used domestically, where opponents are demonized rather than debated. Farrakhan warned that such leadership is reckless on a global stage because it treats nations and humans' lives as pawns in a political theater. Also, Farrakhan's critique also extends beyond Trump to the American system itself. He warned that Trump was not an anomaly, but a product of a deeper imperial tradition. Presidents before Trump used similar tactics: lies, sanctions, covert operations, and propaganda to destabilize government that resisted the US economic interests. What made Trump different, Farrakhan argued, was not the intent, but the openness with which he displayed it. Trump said it aloud, what previous leaders disguised in diplomatic language, thereby exposing the raw nature of American power. Another key element in all this is that the warning that Mr. Louis Farrakhan gave America was more spiritual and moral rather than pure political, as some people see Mr. Louis Farrakhan, because he often frames global events as reflections of divine law, arguing that oppression, deceit, and arrogance invite consequences beyond human control. In warning Trump over Maduro, Farrakhan suggested that America was placing itself on a collision course with moral reckoning. And he emphasized that no nation, regardless of its military strength, can escape accountability when it consistently violates justice and truth. At the same time, Minister Louis Farrakhan also cautioned Black Americans and the global African diaspora not to be misled by the US narratives about Venezuela. He warned that propaganda surrounding Maduro was designed to distract from America's own failure, poverty, racial inequality, mass incarceration, and moral decay. So, by focusing public anger outwards, Farrakhan argued the US avoids confronting its internal contradictions. His message urged critical thinking, to question why some leaders are demonized while others commit similar or worse actions are embraced as allies. So, in the long run, Minister Louis Farrakhan's warning to Trump and America over Maduro was a large indictment of empire itself. He was not predicting events for spectacle, nor aligning himself with any foreign leader, but sounding an alarm about the destructive cycles of lies, framing, and intervention that defines US power. His message was clear and uncompromising. When a nation builds its influence on deception and coercion, it endangers not only others, but itself. In Farrakhan's view, Trump's plan towards Maduro were another chapter in a long history of imperial overreach and a warning sign that America was accelerating towards consequences it could no longer control. So, brothers and sisters, I'm calling upon you all to let me know what you think about this video. Until then, I'm your host and presenter Ejidok Stories. Let me see you in my next video. Peace, love, and harmony. Salute.